Hi, everyone. My name is Lisa Wetzel, and I channel information from the Akashic Records. And we are at the end of 2024 right now. Boy, has this year been interesting. And after reflecting back on all of the additional help that we've had in shifting our consciousness, in raising our frequencies, I wanted to get a review from the Akashic Records to kind of just see where we are and what transpired in 2024. So my question to the Akashic Masters is, what significant events happened in 2024 in order to help us raise our frequency and our consciousness? And this is where we get started. So what we want you to understand is that the vibrational frequency of the earth has risen to a level that is acceptable to us in order for us to achieve our goal. And what we want you to understand is that although the human construct can't fully understand the capacity of what we're providing the earth and its inhabitants that reside upon it, you'll soon begin to recognize that the shifts and the changes that have occurred in your physical structure are due and were due to the shifts that occurred within the vibrational frequency of the earth and of the atmosphere. And we want you to understand that as this year for humans, which is 2024, is ending, the new cycle of the calendar will soon begin. But what we want you to understand is that the evolution of the 12-month period in 2024 was meant for humans to gain a greater consciousness of the greatness of who they are as individuals and what can be provided to them if they break down the structure of the human belief system. What we want you to understand is that beliefs are being pushed in a way that they haven't been pushed before. Humanity is being put in position to truly question how they treat one another and all things. And what we want you to understand is that the belief systems are being removed so that the individual human can look more completely upon themselves and see the true frequency that lies within the heart without the influence of others. And we want you to understand how significant this is. We want you to see that you have all changed. Each individual that walks upon the earth has shifted in ways that they may not fully comprehend, but they soon will. And what we want you to know is that there have been many tools implemented or many tools put in place, and the implementation of these specific tools have created greater awareness for the human construct. We're asking you to understand that the earth is shifting. And we want you to understand that you as humans are shifting as well. This is not an individual act. It is an act for all of mankind and all inhabitants. We want you to understand that we are creating a situation that is much more beneficial to the universal construct as well as the Earth's. We want you to understand that 2024 brought in great reverence for one another. And what you'll soon find is that the individuals that are helping Earth to shift are in many forms. And we want you to understand that there have been many guides that have been placed upon the earth to help and to assist in this process. You'll soon begin to recognize that the galactic species will become more prominent upon the earth as more individuals will begin to recognize their frequency and how they reside upon the earth. What we want you to also understand is that the animal's vibrational frequency has also shifted to become more coherent to our universe and not of the earthly realm that causes more fear and anguish. We also want you to understand that the oceans have shifted, and we want you to understand that the vibrational frequency that exists within in the water is helping all species to survive and to thrive. We want you to understand that there is a magnetic pole shift that is occurring upon the earth at this particular time, but the animals are adapting and they're recognizing how they are shifting and need to shift in order to be in a more coherent balance or cohesive balance in what is happening vibrationally and magnetically. We want you to understand that the earth is shifting in the way that it is meant to do so. And what we want you to understand is that the animals and the vegetation understand the roles. They are serving as guides to all humans at this particular time. We want you to understand that the humans are the battleground at this particular time. And if you'll begin to understand how each individual being is fighting their own battle and recognizing the truth of who you are, you'll understand what we're saying. We want you to know that the human construct has been created to release these battles. We want you simply to understand that if you find yourself in conflict with not knowing what to let go of or what to embrace, you simply follow the heart's pattern and recognize that love is the answer. It always is the answer. We want you to understand that if you're finding yourself leaning towards patterns that are of the more negative nature, you'll understand that that is the enemy. And the heart is what is the most significant. And what we want you to understand is that there is much to do in the human construct of the mind's control. And what we want you to see is that the mind is losing its battle. We want you to recognize that the mind is becoming less coherent or less comfortable in the position of the fight. And what we want you to understand is that the heart is winning out. We want you to understand that there is much more work to be done as each individual has to fight their own battle. But we want you to understand that there are more moving towards the light of the love and not of the hate and the anger. We want you to see that on the surface, it may not present itself the way that it would be most delighted, meaning that it would delight us if we could see more. But what we do want you to understand is that we are assisting every individual in this battle so that they can find the truth of who they are and allow themselves to let go of what is not needed, which is of that negative nature. We want you to understand that what 2024 provided was another avenue for each individual to look at the truth of who they are and how they feel more or less comfortable in the belief systems that have been created. If you'll begin to recognize that each and every one of you that is hearing this message has noticed a shift, and you'll also begin to recognize that the ability to soften up the hatred and the anger has also been achieved. But what we also want you to recognize is that there's more to be done and that this process is intact and it is moving forward. But what we also want you to understand is that you're doing well. We want you to know that the human process has been a complicated one. From the beginning of time to this particular moment, we have recognized how the control of the human mind has created many obstacles for humans to be able to see the love and the light that resides within themselves and within all things. And what we want you to understand is that we're moving towards that, and that the gravity of each individual is also being shifted and is allowing more of the higher vibrational frequency of each cellular structure that resides within the physical body to vibrate at a higher frequency, so that these lower frequencies will be harder to obtain. And this is also a gift and a tool that has been used in this particular year. But what we also want you to understand is that there is much more work to be done, and this will continue into the future. But what we also want you to understand is that all humans can have peace and recognize that as long as they stand in a place of love, all will continue to move forward. But we also want you to understand that there'll be fewer and fewer that stand in a place that is less than love. And if you begin to understand that you are the first component to this particular story, then you'll begin to understand how you can move forward in this way if you allow yourself to do so. We also want you to understand that 2024 was a place to create fear. If you had recognized that there were events and situations that brought up anguish, fear, and discontent, you'll also begin to recognize that these were opportunities for every human to look at themselves to see how they can change their perspectives. And this is what we want you to understand. There were many tools that were used in the year 2024 for humans to elevate. But what we also want you to understand is that they are working and they'll continue to work. The human evolution is occurring at this particular time, and all can find peace in their heart in order to move forward in the knowing that we are assisting. We are assisting each and every one of you to find the peace that lies within you so that the mind's challenge can be less than. We want you to understand that we are giving you the ability to let go of the battle and stand as the victor in the place of love. We also want you to understand that we are putting that place of fear to a test so that the individuals will no longer wish to stand there. There will be a place that one can stand in the truly confident state of love and not waver into the future. We want you to understand that this has also been implemented in a way that will assist the human growth. We want you to understand that there have been many significant events that have happened in the year 2024 for humans to recognize that the patterns of misbelief or disbelief in the fact that there is love that resides in all human beings is being implemented. We're wanting you to understand that those misbeliefs or disbeliefs are fading away, and individuals will begin to see more clearly the love that resides within one another. And this particular tool has been implemented as well. Humans are evolving in a magnificent manner, and what you will soon find is that the visible attributes of every individual will become more apparent in the days to come. We are asking each human being to stand in the truth of who they are and allow the fight to be set free, as there is no need to fight what resides within each and every one of you. You simply step in one direction that gives you the place of love and light and compassion. And this is where we want you to recognize that this can be done. And this was the significant events that happened in 2024, so that each individual that resides upon the earth can stand more in the truth and the love of who they are and no longer fight or stand in fear of what could be. And this is the message that we want you to know today. So what I'm seeing is that, and what my understanding is of what's being said, is that, there's been a lot of things that were put in place that we may not understand. And we also have to understand that there's been many events around the world that have created our ability to question the motivations behind people's actions, the events that happened, all of the events that are of the earthly nature, the weather events, those shifts and changes, being able to see and recognizing how that's shifting and changing our consciousness. But more than anything else, I think that it's really important for all of us to really truly understand that 2024 kind of pushed our buttons and pushed us to places that may have drawn a line for us. And I think that this is what we fail to see. We look at everything as a whole blanket, like this whatever's happening is a blanket. When there's conflict, we think it's everybody's in that conflict. And the way that we perceive that conflict is the way that everybody's thinking. And that's not necessarily so. And so what I feel that, they're saying, what the guides are saying to me now is step back from what your perception is as the battle and really start analyzing why you feel like you have to be in the fight. And a lot of it has to do with our old conditioning, our old belief systems, the way that we've been taught, the way that society has said that this is the way things need to be. And we're fighting that old construct. We're trying to stay in that old way so much that we're not allowing different perspectives or different ideas to come to us and recognize that those ideas may resonate with our hearts more than it does to fight the battle for the old structure. And what I'm saying, something as simple as racism, looking at another human being and not seeing them as equal as you, or you looking at yourself, not feeling that you are equal to somebody else. And this is just one. There's so many different things that have happened that have come to our attention this year that I'm really asking you all to start analyzing and looking at what were the events that happened in 2024 that you stood so strongly in your belief system that it caused chaos within you. And was it an opportunity for you to shift your perspective? And if you found that some of these events did, then congratulations. But if you finding yourself still sticking to those old ways, the old ways that is causing separation and hate and anger and those fears, then start looking at what is your truth. Not what you were taught, not what your parents conditioned you to believe, not what society conditioned you to believe, but what do you feel? How do you feel? And is it in alignment with love? And they're saying again, so we're asking you to truly question who you are and what you can become to find the final answer. And this is what we want you to know today. And so what I'm saying, or what I'm feeling again, is what I need to reiterate is that, at the end of this year, the beginning of 2025, look at you. Look at the whole construct of who you are as a human being, and what do you see that you can let go of that was causing uncomfortable situations, that was causing separateness, causing fear, causing anguish, causing hatred. Look within yourself and recognize that you're getting the opportunity to take advantage of the tools that the universe has provided for us and put them into play. And that's what the message is for 2024 at the end of December. So thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you again next time.